My name is Emma and this is Story Central. I am female, 30, divorced, my ex-husband male, 36 because of my mother-in-law. Female, 60, and suddenly he wants back in. My ex and I were married for well over 5 years and together for 10. His mother was a nightmare. She would spend her time belittling me and trying to humiliate me. I'd take it as I loved my husband and didn't want to make him choose between her or me. Of course, I would always tell him what she would be doing, and he would always brush it off as her being a loving and overprotecting mom when she would say something racist. I am Hispanic and they are white. He would laugh it off when she would make a comment of me being a gold digger even though I made more than my ex. He would just say, "Oh, mom." He would also get mad at me if I ever stood up for myself. But the straw that broke the camel's back is when we had our daughter. My mother-in-law would always try to parent her and say that I would be doing something wrong. My daughter has an irritable colon and she cannot ingest any kind of effing oils or artificial things. And guess what that loony of a woman did? She fed my 3-year-old daughter essential oils. She is not anti-vax, just very stupid to make her go to sleep. She was in the ICU. I had it and I confronted my husband who said she only did what she thought was best. I lost it. I went to my parents and drafted a divorce agreement. That's the best course of action. I saw a post earlier describing a situation that is much more dangerous than mine, involving allergens and an EpiPen. His face was like that Pikachu meme when I served him. He didn't know why I was doing that because we were happy. So now a year has passed and my life is hell. My monster-in-law tried every dirty trick in the book to take my daughter, to name a few. She accused my brother of molesting her. She accused me of neglect. She accused me of taking drugs and leaving them in reach of a toddler. I take thy Roxanne for heaven's sake. She accused me of endangering my daughter by leaving a random man in my house. The list goes on. During this time, the excuse of my ex was that I broke his heart and I had to understand his mother. She only wants what's best for him. Luckily, I got good representation and even got my daughter full-time minus some weekends or visitation. I could prove that my daughter was endangered by his mother. So now the advice part. I knew that my ex needed to be permanently in my life because of my daughter and I was learning to live with that. He was very cold with me because again I broke his heart. Now 2 things have come together. 1, my ex-brother-in-law got married to an African-American woman, so of course my ex-mother-in-law flipped. 2, I started dating again. My brother-in-law is a great guy and he actually stood up for his wife. Go figure. It is possible I stay in contact with him because we are friends and he was a mediator and fought with his brother quite often. So my brother-in-law actually stood up for his wife and my ex-husband got his panties in a twist. My brother-in-law basically opened his eyes to how crappy he was being and that their mom treated me the same way she treated his wife. And finally my dance ex started understanding the guy I am seeing is great. I have even met his parents and his mother is normal. She treats me like a human being and has invited me already to many family functions and tries to make me and my daughter feel welcome. My ex-gut went from the situation through a mutual friend and guess who is now flipping his ass? He started bringing flowers and chocolate. I don't even like chocolate. To pick up our daughter, he sent me cards and texts with hearts and who knows what. Yesterday was the best thing. My daughter was at my mother's place and I was at home with my boyfriend. He appears in front of my door crying and clutching my engagement ring begging me to come back. I said no and that he should go away. He wouldn't and started demanding that I come out to talk to him. My boyfriend told him that he would call the police and in his pathetic fashion he threatened to beat my boyfriend up. I closed the door and let him pound sand. Today he picked up my daughter for a day trip and when they came back my daughter was asking if I loved my boyfriend more than her. Now I am at a loss as to what to do. I already told my daughter that it was impossible because my love for her is infinite. And there is nothing bigger than infinite. But now I know that my ex is trying to make my daughter hate me. I am at a loss because I won't use my daughter as ammunition. But also what the hell am I supposed to do? I will never get back with that man. But I can't take away the father of my daughter. Edit mini update. Thanks to you all I needed to vent and was feeling helpless. And I'm so thankful for you wonderful people. I talked to my lawyer who confirmed that we could have a case for domestic violence by proxy. A social worker will be visiting us in the next few days to talk to my daughter about this. Another edit because apparently people want to spin the world narrative on me. I don't care if he wants me back. I don't love him anymore and will never get back together with him. Staying together for the sake of our daughter would not make any sense, as it has been proven that the kids grow up happier in divorced homes than unhappy homes. I tried talking to my husband when we were still married, and he would always brush it off. He would brush off everything his mother did. I complained to him and told him we needed to go to therapy, which he declined. He has his daughter on the weekends. The court gave me majority custody because of his mother. Wow, Opus, I'm really sorry. You had that mother-in-law and it cost you your marriage. But also, your husband truly sucks. Spineless little mommy's boy. So good on you for divorcing him. However, there is a lot more to this story, particularly about the mother-in-law. So now let's continue with the updates I just posted yesterday. But it feels like weeks have passed. So I have just left my daughter with my mother and I'm going to my lawyer. Again, I followed some of the advice you guys gave me and we sat down with my daughter to chit-chat. We knew we couldn't prompt any kind of responses by asking overly specific questions as per her therapist. So my mother asks my daughter, let's call her Kat, what do you and Daddy talk about? And Kat just listed many toddler things like she talks about kindergarten games, etc. When I was kind of relieved that the comment my ex made yesterday may just be a one-off came the big bomb. He also shows me pictures of houses and tells me I can now have 2 rooms with loads of stuff. I ask her if her dad is buying a new house. Nope. Turns out that Nut wants to take my daughter out of the country. He shows her pictures of beach houses and even bought her a bag already so she can put her stuff inside it. Which explains why so many of her clothes have gone missing. At first I thought that maybe my ex hadn't told me yet because it hadn't come through. But no, he told my daughter to keep this secret because mommy would get sad if she knew that daddy was going away. So I am effing livid. And also sad because I will have to tell my daughter no. Once again, I feel lost. Edit update: I talked to my lawyer and we have taken measures that I can't discuss here, but we are on it. I have my daughter's passport as we flew last month to visit extended family. Also, I am from the U.S. citizen, so even if my ex-mother-in-law tried to have me deported, that wouldn't be possible. Wow, that ex-husband just gets dumber by the day. But there's not much to say now except let's move on to the final update, where we have a huge reveal. I didn't have enough evidence to request an ex parte AITA emergency child custody, so my lawyer and I had to work on steps to prevent child abduction. We got a custody decree that included provisions including passports, travel restrictions, etc. We also had to be very wary of the signs. He, in fact, quit his job. And on a realtor's page, I saw that he was putting his mother's house for sale. That, and my daughter's words, was all we needed to notify law enforcement for them to keep an eye out. I couldn't prevent my daughter from seeing her father. We tried to continue business as usual without my daughter feeling something was up. I got a call from the police department regarding the passport situation. My daughter's passport expired very recently. 5-year validity. My ex-husband had tried to request a passport for my daughter without my knowledge, which was stupid, because even without the decree, I had to be present or submit a notarized document of me stating that he could request the passport. After that, things went actually very fast. He was investigated because he violated the decree, and it was found out that his ex-mother-in-law had bought 3 tickets to Mexico with no return. I could now request an ex parte. After a crap ton of documents, I submitted it. Really quick, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to drop a like. In most cases, the judge will evaluate behind closed doors. We had a hearing yesterday. It usually takes 10 to 20 days, which was very good for me. At the moment, I have sole custody of my daughter. This is all temporary. My ex has visitation rights if I was present, but he can't take her anywhere. This is once the investigation of him is closed. I was cursed out by my ex and my mother-in-law, and they said they will try to contest this, but they have no leg to stand on. My daughter will continue in therapy, especially after this. I will not prohibit him from seeing her, but he needs help. This was really scary and a very intense 2 weeks. I don't think I will update again, but I wanted to thank you all for your tips and support. I am really thankful, as I am finally not anxious the whole time. Thank you very much. And that's it. So they wanted to take her out of the country. They already had the ticket spot, and they were one way, no return. Man, I truly hope that ex gets some court-mandated therapy to, get his head on straight. He's a moron. And that ex-mother-in-law is just asking for trouble. Now for the next story. My poor baby. My female, 28, mother-in-law, female, 55, pierced my daughter's ears without permission. My overreacting. I've been married for around 4 years and am the mother of an 8-month-old daughter, Annie. I'm a first-time mother, but I don't think I'm overly paranoid or anything. Last Friday, my mother-in-law asked if she could pick up Annie early from daycare so she could spend time with her. I said sure. This isn't the first time she's done that, and it's never been a problem. In the evening, I go to pick up my daughter from her house and notice her ears are pierced. I asked my mother-in-law why she thought that it was okay to do that without my permission. She had asked about earrings in the past, and I told her that I wasn't going to put my baby in pain for something cosmetic. Also, I think babies look weird with earrings. She said I should thank her because I didn't see my baby in pain. Apparently, my baby's pain only exists when I'm there to see it. I told her she had absolutely no right to go against my feelings on the matter. She said because I told her she could pick my daughter up from daycare. I was trusting her to make the decisions, and this is the one she made. I was further enraged when I found out my daughter's ears had been pierced at some cheap jewelry store in the mall. If I were going to pierce her ears, I'd have taken her somewhere with professional piercers. When I told my husband about it, he was furious with his mother. He called her to tell her so, and she said that I was turning him against her. He told her that he was removing her from the list of approved pickup people at Annie's daycare because he couldn't trust Annie with her anymore. My mother-in-law sent me a half-assed apology on Facebook saying she still wants to spend time with Annie and didn't expect me to have such a dramatic reaction. Here's the apology. I know that you're mad at me, and I want you to know that was never my intention. I love Annie with all my heart, and you know I would never do anything that would hurt her. When Mill, my husband, said he didn't want me to see Annie anymore, it broke my heart, and that's just not fair. Note, my husband never said she couldn't see Annie, just that she couldn't be alone with her. I never imagined you would react so dramatically. I feel like I'm being treated like a child abuser. It also hurts that you apparently think I'm not entitled to any say over my granddaughter. It takes a village to raise a child. Once again, I didn't mean to upset you and hope we can move past this. I don't know what to do. I'd hate to start a family feud, but I really don't trust her with my daughter anymore. Okay, so before we continue with the updates, there's only one thing I want to say to this mother-in-law. Guess what? You are not entitled to any say over your granddaughter. You can have an opinion if you're asked for it, but that's as far as you get to go. And you most definitely don't get to make any decisions like piercing her ears. You dumb. I can't say that. Okay, well, let's move on with the first update. This has been a dramatic few days. My mother-in-law has gone entirely crazy. My husband has been the only one talking to her over the last few days. He wanted her to understand that he was upset too. And it wasn't just me being crazy. She accused me of brainwashing him with pseudo-hippie BS. She's furious that I took out the earrings. She said since my daughter will get her ears pierced again later, that I'm needlessly torturing her just to be petty. She has called several family members to get them on her side. Luckily, everyone has either sided with us or said they didn't want to get involved at all. My 20-year-old sister is our usual babysitter. If she babysits, she'll usually just spend the night because she lives about 45 minutes away. On several occasions, her boyfriend has come with her. He's a great guy. They've been together for 8 years. Seriously, and I love him like a brother. My mother-in-law doesn't like this at all. She's only met him twice and has decided that the only reason he could possibly want to accompany his girlfriend on a babysitting job is to molest my daughter. When she found out we let him change her diapers, she said we were just asking for trouble. My mother-in-law threatened to call Children's Services and report us for letting some random guy sleep in the same house as our daughter if we don't allow her to spend time with Annie alone anymore. My husband told her not to expect to ever see her granddaughter again. That was last night. I'm just floored. I can't believe it's all turning out like this. My husband keeps apologizing like it's his fault. We've already decided that if she calls, we're going to file some kind of harassment claim against her. I had no idea people could be this crazy. Well, this mother-in-law just keeps getting better by the second, doesn't she? Oh, wow. Okay, let's move on to the final update after the conversation from my last post. We did not speak with my mother-in-law at all until last Sunday. My sister's boyfriend had a job interview at 7 a.m. Friday morning near our house. He lives about 45 minutes away. He stayed at our house the night before so that he wouldn't have to wake up so insanely early. Anyway, the interview goes well and he feels fairly confident. The problem is, this job requires some on-call hours and that's not exactly feasible from 45 minutes away. His current lease isn't up until mid-December. My husband and I told him that he's welcome to stay with us the nights he has to be on call. I'm not sure exactly how much that would be. Probably a few nights a week. Anyway, on Saturday, my husband talked to his brother. His brother is planning to come into town for the weekend sometime next month and asked if he could stay with us. My husband told him that that was fine, but explained that my sister's boyfriend might be staying with us, so he might have to take the couch. My brother-in-law told my mother-in-law a jerk that went over about as well as you'd think it would. She called my husband and freaked out about us just asking for our daughter to be molested. She also said that it would be better if my sister and her boyfriend were married. If he's a pedo, I'm not sure what difference being married makes, but that's a crazy person for you. My husband hung up on her. This is when it gets really crazy. She called 911. Seriously, I'm not sure exactly what she told them, but something along the lines of our daughter being alone with a sexual predator. The police showed up at our house expecting to find our daughter with a pervert. We explained our situation and the officers, super nice, recommended we make an official report about harassment. We're also going to go for a restraining order. I was mortified that the police had been called, but they assured me that they'd seen crazier. So that's our life. We're attempting to completely cut her out. I feel somewhat guilty if she's having some kind of mental breakdown that we're not doing more to help, but I've got to put my daughter first. If she has mental health, I wouldn't rule out a relationship in the future, but for now, I'm done. And to think this all started with some crappy earrings. Edit: just when you thought she couldn't get crazier, she left my husband an angry voicemail saying she can prove that my sister's boyfriend is a pedo. He didn't believe it, of course, but called her to find out what she was saying so we could tell the police. She said that my sister's boyfriend had been attracted to my sister when she was a child, which is true. He and my sister started dating when she was 12. He was also 12, apparently because he was attracted to a child when he was a child himself. He is a pedo. Hopefully we'll have a restraining order next week and she'll take it seriously. Oh wow, your mother-in-law's mental gymnastics are insane. So yeah, when you're 12 years old, if you're attracted to another 12-year-old, that in the future will make you some sort of a pedo that's just so weird and stupid. It's a good thing that you're getting this restraining order, Opus. Hopefully, she will get some mental help because this lady is beyond wacko.